Big loss for big tech as Mark Zuckerberg's Meta and Google go down in a major court ruling. Let's discuss. I'm Dave Ehrenberg, former state attorney for Palm Beach County, a.k.a. the Florida Lawman here on Substack. Thanks for your support. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't done so already. And if you have, please consider upgrading to a paid subscription to support my work. So earlier, I was on CNN to discuss this matter, and I want to give you the full discussion about what happened in court, because when it comes to this lawsuit against big tech, meaning Meta and Google, and it was also TikTok and Snapchat, this could be a game changer, because what happened is you had a young girl who became addicted to social media, and it caused some issues, body dysmorphia, you had depression, and you had all these other issues that they're blaming on this social media that is on her phone or in her home. And because of auto scroll and algorithms, they keep feeding her stuff that keeps her addicted. This is not just unique to this one individual. This is the one person who now is 20 years old and sued. There are thousands of other lawsuits waiting in the wings, which is why this case was so important. This is a bellwether case to go after these social media companies for knowingly getting young people addicted and then warping their minds. If this sounds like the tobacco lawsuits from the 1990s, it's because it is. This is the same legal theory. A few things that are really interesting that stick out. First, you didn't see TikTok or Snapchat on this verdict form. It's because they settled before the trial. They could see the writing on the wall and they wanted out. They settled, paid up. Smart for them, because now Facebook and Meta, even though they only had to pay $6 million in this lawsuit, still, this is opening the door to thousands of others. I mean, put 6 million times, 1,000 possibly? I mean, we don't know. But this is precedent setting. And I think the next instinct for Mark Zuckerberg and his team and Google and their team will be to settle these lawsuits. And what else is interesting about this is that there's something called Section 230. It's from the Communications Decency Act of 1996. It's been used as a shield for social media companies. So you can't be blamed for what people put on the site. So if you are upset because someone calls you a name or harasses you, they get immunity under Section 230. So how do you get around it? Well, similar to the tobacco lawsuits, the lawyers for the plaintiff were really smart. They didn't sue the companies for what people posted on the site. Not the content, but for having a defective product. Meaning that it was their product design, like tobacco, to keep people addicted. It's the same thing for these social media companies when it comes to infinite scroll, notification algorithms, engagement metrics. The argument is that these things are inherently defective and designed to trigger the dopamine responses to get young people addicted, especially with their developing brains. So you had this lawsuit, and in the end, the verdict was what I had anticipated, which was liability. And they're going to throw the hammer at Facebook and Google. I know in this one, $6 million is a drop in the bucket for these rich companies, but now Katie barred the door. Yes, that barn door is open for all these other lawsuits to run through. Now, what is also interesting is that this all occurred just a day after a separate jury in New Mexico hit Meta with a $375 million penalty. Now, this was different. This was brought not by a private plaintiff, but by the Attorney General of New Mexico. It's a claim that the company was violating the Unfair Trade Practices Act regarding child sex exploitation, making it too easy for predators to come into your home, use their site, and prey upon young people. So this is a real shift away from the old thinking that, well, these tech platforms are just neutral, passive bulletin boards, into something where they're held responsible. And wait till you see when AI gets sued, because AI is not a bulletin board. AI creates content. So if you're the AI companies, you better lawyer up, because there's going to be a flood of lawsuits if there hasn't been already. Now, this lawsuit here will have precedential value. It will have ramifications. It will be appealed by Meta and by Google, because they're going to say, hey, you didn't prove causation here. There are a lot of things in this world that can cause mental health issues in young people. At the trial, they said, well, this young girl, she had family issues. She had bullying offline, had nothing to do with the websites. She had real world trauma. So how do you know that it's our social media site that was the proximate cause of her depression, of her body dysmorphia, her self-harm? Maybe it's just one of many factors, if at all. But the jury didn't buy it. And so now a new day is emerging. And I think it's a good thing, because no one wants to see these very powerful companies be able to just say, sorry, we don't care what happens to you. Immune. Or as they said in Lethal Weapon 3, was it? Diplomatic immunity. That was the bad guy who kept saying that. But here, you're not getting immunity. Section 230 only goes so far. And now it's time to pay. And that's the latest. I'm Dave Ehrenberg, a.k.a. the Florida Lawman. If you like this video, please hit the subscribe button. If you have already, please consider upgrading to a paid subscription. We have more of a two-way conversation. We have our live office hours. I look forward to the next one. And I look forward to seeing you here again next time.